Good evening and welcome to another episode of Cigar Sundays Live. I am Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, always joined by the illustrious Cigarden Panel with at I am Jazz Garcelle and
Hello.
the God Ali Dawu El at BK Soul Farm. If you are just joining us for the first time, make sure to like, share the video, also subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Peace, family.
Hey guys, happy Sunday. Another Sunday. First Sunday of October.
First day of October. I ran the intro twice, y'all, because I just think we look so good. So I had to run it back.
Okay. Hey.
Peace, 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 team. Y'all good?
Yeah. How
Double time the intro.
y'all weekend been so far?
Good, good.
Mine been
A lot
super
of
dope.
activity and fun. Festivities.
Yeah, what you been up to, Jazz?
Well, I went to an event, saw one of my good friends perform, and I went to one of those bowling arcade old school joints on a date. That was pretty cool, you know. So weather's been beautiful here in Pittsburgh, just 80s. Summer is hanging on for dear life. So I was taking advantage of that, getting out of the house, you know.
That's right.
Can I ask you a question, Jazz? You said you went
Sure.
bowling on a date?
Yeah, bowling. It was like an arcade type place. It
That's
was like
dope.
they have old school arcade games, pinball, bowling, darts, all that. A restaurant. So yeah. What's the
Yeah,
question?
that was my question. I just think
Oh,
that's
okay.
dope because
Yeah.
you let social media tell it like those are considered like not quality dates, right? You can't get to know somebody
Oh, I don't
at
care about social
the
media.
bowling
I mean, I'm
alley.
not. Yeah, I mean, I'm not using that as an anchor of what I should do on a date. Like, you know, it's my life, my decision, you know. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
So you cool with the Cheesecake Factory, Jazz? That's all
Yeah, I'm cool with the Cheesecake Factory. I
right.
honestly, I don't like their food that much. I love their cheesecake, but I'm not a huge fan of their food, but I wouldn't be opposed if someone asked me to go there. I'm not too good for Cheesecake Factory.
That's
That's
what's up.
dope.
How about you, God?
I've been doing good, like so I do got a little situation on the farm. I have a toad problem. Uh and
Toads?
yeah, like so toads
Oh.
love bees, right? And naturally, in natural nature, I guess they wouldn't eat them because the beehive probably be up in a tree and the bees doing their thing. But when you farming them, the toads just like, hey, they right here, and the bees not that smart. They not wild bees. They just it's just an interesting thing. So I'm about to go get a 22 BB gun and
What?
start
Hold on now.
and start protecting my property.
Making some toad soup or something out
Plucking
here.
them off. You gonna start plucking them off.
Cause yo, man,
Wow.
it started out with just one of them. I went out there this morning, man. It was like seven of them. Like they had like different sizes. It was like the training camp for their kids. It was like a rite of passage. It looked like it was crazy.
Man.
I'm like, yeah, I need something
Not
to set the ass
training
on
camp.
fire.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Need some defense, some B defense.
Like, this
Right,
is how you catch the bees, honey. Look
right.
right here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you, Jazz.
All right. But yeah, family. Man, we just been putting some things together. As y'all know, we changed up the show a little bit, but we want to wish everybody well that was with us and everything, and much success in whatever they got going on. So
Hmm.
I just been focusing on network stuff, y'all, and just trying to continue to work, build, and push forward with with these goals and objectives and these dreams, turn these dreams into realities.
Exactly.
You know, um, but yeah, we got a dope show this evening, y'all. Tonight we talking about nepotism. I mean, no, not nepotism.
No, narcissism.
Narcissism. Narcissism. We talking about narcissism. And If you're new to the channel, what we do is we define a word, take it, break it down, analyze it, share our opinions, exchange insight, and and have fun doing it. So before we get into the definition of tonight's word, we open that a look at our questions. We have 3 questions. And our first question is, what are some characteristics of narcissism? Our second question is, an effective way to communicate? And our third question is there a difference between someone diagnosed with narcissism versus not?
Hmm.
And just to be a little bit more like I didn't want to run on the question, but I guess it's just actions based. I guess we would answer that, we would be trying to determine that based on actions. Well, if someone so the actions of a person that is diagnosed with it versus a person that we may think is exemplifying that behavior, if we're accurate or not, and what we believe narcissism to be, versus someone who is diagnosed with it clinically based on the definition that we want
Hmm.
research tonight. If we not right already, if I
Yo, God, like this
model
word,
isn't already right.
this word is already messing my head up because I'm looking at the word diagnosed in there, and I'm asking myself, like, is narcissism like a clinical thing? Like, can you be
It
diagnosed?
is. It
Like,
is.
can you take a pill?
Well, I don't know about that. I've not researched it, or I'm not sure about that
That's that's
part.
that's, that's what I mean. Like, is it like something that you can get medication for?
Like a
Like, is it?
mental health disorder. Like, I think it is a
Yeah,
mental health disorder. I don't know about the medication part, but
It
possibly.
it
this
is
is
a mental health disorder.
wow. I did not know that at all.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm about to learn tonight.
yeah.
Hey, I did not know. I thought narcissist was like a term, aka jerk.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yes,
That's
yeah.
that's how it's used. Yeah,
Hmm.
I
yeah.
I didn't know it was like a thing.
That's how it's
Yeah.
used. And it may be even good to just go into what we think, let's play around with the first question first, y'all. Like what are some characteristics of narcissism? Of what we think they are, based before we even go to the definition. God, what you think?
Like I said, a jerk, like a person that like every joke they say is funny. Like everything that they wear got to look good. Like they the definition of the standard. I think. Um,
Like the status quo, like they are the
like
definition of
like they the definition of
whatever.
that. Yeah, they the
Yeah.
definition of that. That's how I feel like they think they are. Like I don't even have a long list. Like I think it's just those that simple. Like they got like a high um opinion of themselves, like a over emphasize or over a non-deserved opinion of themselves, right? Potentially, right? Because somebody I can imagine a billionaire's kid being a narcissist and
Oh yeah.
thinking that, well, nah, I deserved it because my daddy or my mom did X, Y, and Z. So yeah, that's interesting. So that's what I think it is. I think it's overall is a proper jerk.
A proper jerk.
That's what I think.
Not proper jerk.
Okay. What you think, Jazz?
I think that when I hear the word narcissist, I think of someone who is full of themselves, someone that is um, just thinks that their ish don't stink, so to speak. Somebody that isn't humble, someone that's kind of self-righteous almost. I mean, no, I mean, I feel like that might be one of the synonyms. I'm not looking, I promise. But I would definitely say someone that is full of themselves, someone that think highly of themselves, but to a not like confidence, but to 10 degrees higher than confidence, like just the highest esteem, not even esteem, just someone that's just like, I'm
It's
the best at
unnecessary.
this, I'm the best everything. Someone that's concerned with their looks a lot, and just their outer everything is very important. I think of narcissism, I think of like people that are good looking, like cared about their outer appearance, almost like, I mean, I don't want to say celebrities, but like, you know, people that have a higher stature in life, um, or or it might be imagined that way. Yeah, like Ali was saying, billionaires, people that have a lot of things going, I guess, for themselves. And then it's like, just ask them. They know, like you can never tell them anything because they
You
know
don't
it
have
all.
you don't
Also,
make enough money.
And they know it all too. They know it all.
Yeah,
So they know it.
right.
know it
So we
all.
got so we got some good things. We got Jazz, you said they think they ish don't stink, they full of themselves, they know it
Hmm.
all, higher than confident. Um God, you said that they think they the flyest. Um, they rude, they rude, they jerks,
Yep, proper
you
jerks.
know, and rudeness, they're overly, I guess when you say their appearance, they're overly concerned about their appearance.
Right. Like when they go out, they have to have the freshest shoes. They can't just go out to Walmart in, like in sweatpants and a t-shirt. Like they have to be like, you know, fresh to
Ooh,
death, even if they just go into a store.
let me add on to that. Like, so I think a narcissist, if they went out, right, and they saw somebody wearing the same thing that they was wearing, like they would either leave and go change or start a confrontation and make that person leave and go change.
Whoa, that's
That's
extreme, buddy.
serious. That's
Like
nice.
Possibly.
when you said that just now, that's
That's
what made me think
nice.
about, like, because I know people that's like, oh, I saw somebody with the same shirt on that I got on. I can't wear this shirt. I got to go change my shirt. I'm like, man,
Mm.
like a million people don't bought that same shirt. Like they sell it in the
Right.
store.
That's why the mass
Especially if it's
production,
a cheap shirt.
it's mass produced for a reason, bro. Like,
Mass produced.
you
Yeah, but
know,
but like but like a cheap shirt is mass produced. Like
right.
even if you pay $1,000 for it and they make 2,000 of them, like it's still a cheap shirt.
2,000 rich people are gonna have them.
Right. So you can see somebody else with your shirt. Now, if you go get a shirt made,
That's,
that's when you fly. That's when you can step up in there like, yeah, ain't nobody got this shit.
but you can't go to Macy's, pick something off the rack, talking about,
Well,
yeah, I'm
no,
gonna be
but
the
I
best
mean, like,
dressed. Then be like, yeah, I'm mad
no,
when I see somebody with the
No,
same shirt. Like I went to Macy's too, man.
you're right. They might be
yeah.
delusional. I don't know if they
That kind of reminds me. That reminds me of
narcissists,
a
but
situation. Well, when I was in high school, we had there was this boutique, and they I remember I got my prom dress, but they only made or they only sold one type of the dress to each person at your school. So they could sell it to different schools, the design, but they would only sell one design to your school. So it was like my design. I was the only person that had the design of my dress from that boutique, which
that was
was
cool.
really cool. Yeah, it was
Wow.
Yeah,
really
that was
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's
Yeah, that
dope.
was that was thoughtful that they put that
Yeah,
they
that they made that for the area, the prom high schools in our area. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was all right. That's not a bad thing.
It sounds like
Uh
a good marketing strategy too, right? To
Right,
like
right,
I'm the only one with this. This
right,
yeah,
dress.
right. And I mean, it was cool at the
Yeah,
time.
I bet it would be. Yeah, like I can see it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
yeah, that's dope. So let's go ahead and get into these definitions, y'all.
Narcissist.
Yeah. All right. So we have the Merriam-Webster dictionary here. Narcissism is a noun. One, egoism, egocentrism, narcissistic personality disorder.
Wow.
Love of or sexual desire of one's own body.
Hmm?
Hold it.
I don't know what that means. I don't understand what that means.
Wait a second. Let me read this
Why
again.
they didn't have a sentence under that?
You know,
That's
so
crazy.
yeah. So we'll go to see if we can pull up Google now and see what Google says about it. And
Yeah, that's what Jazz was saying all day.
Google gives the definition of narcissism as excessive interest in or admiration of oneself and one's physical appearance. And then we have,
Mm,
as in psychology, selfishness involving a sense of entitlement, a lack of empathy, and a need for admiration as characterizing a personality type.
mm,
Wow.
And then we have psychoanalysts as self-centeredness arising from failure to distinguish the self from external objects, either in very young babies or as a feature of mental disorder.
Failure to distinguish
mm.
yourself from external objects.
Either in very young babies or
I'm trying to understand that part.
What is failure to distinguish oneself from external objects?
so do you be bumping into shit? Like
I don't
So
know. I guess maybe you don't see yourself different from a chair. I guess.
that doesn't make sense. Hold on.
I don't know. I don't quite get what the correlation self-centeredness arising from failure to distinguish the self from external objects, either in very young babies or as a feature of mental disorder. Now, I get it as a feature of mental disorder. The only other way that I can get it in a baby is because they don't have the um, motor skills, the brain function to distinguish the difference yet at a certain age where they say young babies. So
Right, like infant, like a baby that's just born almost.
that's what they say young babies, but it's non-specific because not putting an age, like from day one to 90 days, 3 months. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So where we at? Because you see babies doing a lot of stuff in 3-4 months.
Mm,
I hear stories of of babies learning, of having cognitive function. That's what they call it. So I don't
mm,
know. That's different. But we're gonna stick to the psychology, like as far as a person being clinically diagnosed, because right here it clearly says that over here it says personality qualities include thinking very highly of oneself, needing admiration, believing others are inferior, and lacking empathy for others. Okay, but then when we scroll down right here, we see narcissistic personality disorder, a disorder in
mhm,
which a person has an inflated sense of self-importance. Okay, and they give it a lot of a condition characterized by persistent behavior that interferes with developing normal relationships and functioning in society.
Yo, I'm having a hard time with that psychoanalyst sentence and listening to and reading definitions that you just got finished reading. Um, because if a person cannot distinguish themselves from external objects, like they fail to do that, how do they then have a self-centeredness, right? Because if they can't distinguish themselves from other things, wouldn't everything be everything? Or am I reading that wrong?
Well, everything seems the same if you can't distinguish.
Yeah, but it says a failure to distinguish the self from external objects.
I think it means like you
Yeah, they
have,
failing to be able to separate it. They
right,
fail to be able to
they don't
separate.
have the mental capacity to, in order
Oh,
to
I was
separate
reading. I
it.
was reading it wrong. Got it.
Right. So everything is the same to them.
Got it.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's where I'm just like, okay, I get that in babies when they're young, you
Right,
know,
of course.
where everything seems the same, but I what stage of baby is that? Because young babies, I guess they didn't say toddler, so I guess you got to be in whatever babies considered.
Yeah, like
That's all pre-crawling.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah, and in development of children, they go by months, like, 13, 8 months to, like how you're saying, 1 month to 5 months, 5 months to 8 months, 8 months to 11, and so on with their milestones and all that.
Yeah, I think toddler is the first one after the infant stage, right?
Yeah, definitely toddlers.
Okay. So then there's another problem because they put young babies.
Right.
They weren't very specific, were they?
Yeah.
Because infant is specific.
Because infant is specific. Right.
See, and that's why I asked if there was medication for this, right? Because it says psychology, and that can really just be somebody putting down on somebody else, right? Like, you think highly of yourself, or you think too highly of yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly, I would imagine this person would be the person that walks into a room and demands everybody to look at them and hear their voice and, hey, I've entered the room now. You can start.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I think. I don't know, man. This is fascinating to me. Because I guess we kind of both had it right, me and Jazz.
Uh-huh.
So far, based on all of these things, it's lining up. Wikipedia says narcissism is a self-centered personality style characterized as having an excessive preoccupation with oneself and one's own needs, often at the expense of others. Narcissism exists on a continuum that ranges from normal to abnormal personality expression. While so many psychologists believe that a moderate degree of narcissism is normal and healthy in humans, there are also more extreme forms observable, particularly in people who are excessively self absorbed or who have a mental illness like narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, where the narcissistic tendency has become pathological, leading to functional impairment and psychosocial disability.
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot. Wow.
So right off the rip, you just can't be willy-nilly calling people narcissists. I don't think, right? Like, I think you gotta be qualified to call somebody that. I'm just looking at this. Because like a whole, because like a whole condition, right? NPD.
NPD.
Right? Like, you got to go to somebody's school to be able to say that somebody has that.
That's that nigga please disorder.
No, you didn't.
The school of hard knocks. You gotta go to somebody's school.
You don't like my clothes, nigga, please. Yeah. You don't want to do what I say, nigga, please.
You
know? Oh my gosh.
You think my shit stink? Nigga, please.
Nigga, please.
That's
You think
crazy.
I'm self-righteous? Nigga, please.
Nigga, please.
All right, y'all. So we got the synonyms here. And the only synonym that they correlate, well, we got the thesaurus. And narcissism relates to in the thesaurus as in selfness. I didn't even know that was a word,
Me
selfness.
either. I'm learning.
And selfness means excessive interest in oneself.
Selfness. Yeah, I've never seen that word before.
And similar words to narcissism, according to the synonyms, are selfness, selfishness, vanity, ego, egocentrism, egocentricity, egomania, self-absorption, egoism, egotism, pridefulness, self-centeredness, self-involvement, self-interest, self-preoccupation, smugness, vainness, pride, self-regard, self-concern, navel gazing,
What?
What?
navel gazing.
You both say nut. What?
The hell is that?
I don't know what that is. Um,
Maybe
self,
that's a self-love thing they was talking about.
well, self-love is here.
I thought that was,
Complacency,
yeah.
conceitedness, self-affirmation, self-admiration, vainglory, self-satisfaction, self-conceit, self-importance, pompousness. I've been called that. Self-sufficiency,
Pompo-
pomposity,
pomposity.
Pomposity.
pomposity. All right, self-respect, self-indulgence. Oh, did we click on that? Let's go back.
Self-indulgence.
Self-indulgence, conceit, uh, vaingloriousness, complacence, self-glorification, self-esteem, self-content, self-assumption, self-partiality, and self-consequence.
I don't know, God. Like a lot of this, I think people be hating.
Very interesting.
I think they be hating.
I haven't heard a lot of these words.
Yep. So that is the synonyms.
Very interesting, though.
Y'all see anything between our two sources that y'all want to?
The words, I definitely have heard of egotism or egotistical, which I know or having an ego. But I also feel like I didn't really associate ego as much with narcissism as I did with confidence. But now seeing it, I guess it makes sense.
So let's look at the historical background real quick. The term narcissism is derived from Narcissus, a character in Greek mythology best known from the telling in Roman poet Ovid's Metamorphoses, written in 8 CE.
Yeah, something about his reflection or something. I remember learning about this in school.
It says book 3 of the poem tells the mythical story of a handsome young man, Narcissus, who spurns, what was that? Is that spurns? Spurns the advances of many potential lovers. When Narcissus rejects the nymph Echo, who was cursed to only echo the sounds that others made, the gods punished Narcissus by making him fall in love with his own reflection in a pool of water.
Yeah, so I'm convinced now because I kind of remember this story too in school.
When Narcissus discovers that the object of his love cannot love him back, which is his own reflection, he slowly pines away and dies.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds sad because somebody made him.
That is sad.
They said that somebody made him. They said the gods punish him by making him fall in love with his own reflection. So
Correct.
he didn't even have control over himself. So
Correct.
that's what it looks like. Because if the gods can punish you, then you are not in charge. You got punished.
Right.
So you
It's
gotta
out
go.
of your control.
And it starts from a myth,
And it's mythological.
right? Like, so the story was made up to keep people in check, right? Like to enforce a certain ideology. Like that's what I'm saying. Like when I look at the other words, the synonyms, I'm like, man, I've been called a few of these things, and I'm not hateful. Don't think myself as above anybody else. Like I think everybody got potential, the same amount of potential as I got, right? I think you make
Wait,
the
potential
question.
is one of those words?
No, but is it? No.
Uh,
No, no, nah. It's what he was saying. What he was saying was just like, yeah, you may have been called some of these things before, you know,
mm-hmm.
but I mean, I believe we've read where they said that I believe right here. Let me see if I can pull this back up right quick. Um I think Wikipedia said that uh while many while many psychologists believe that a moderate degree of narcissism is normal in healthy humans, there are also more extreme forms observable, particularly in people who are excessively self absorbed or who have the mental illness.
And that right there was made me have my thought that this is just like some hate, right? Because ego was one of the words that was associated with narcissism, and I know that that the ego is there to protect you for the most part, right? It's there to is in survival mode at all times.
Right.
So you do need that, and then for them to say that a healthy amount of like everybody has a certain amount, which means everybody has an ego, which means you cannot be without this thing. So that means if somebody's saying I got too much, that's them judging my happiness. It's how I read that sentence.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
Because I've been called some of these words, like I said,
Mm.
and I
Yeah, you and I both.
I've
You
been
and I.
called narcissistic, but
and
um,
I've never
you've never
put
been
that.
called narcissistic.
No, I've never done anything deserving of it.
I don't think I have either. But to each their
Right,
own, whatever.
right,
At
like
least I don't think
Um,
I did, but
no, right. So I'm saying based on what we read and learning so far, I would have to have intentionally set out from the onset to big myself up and put you down, right? So even if it might look like that's what I did, or it might look like I was putting you down, but I wasn't purposely trying to do that.
oh, right, exactly. Like looking at it, the whole like now, I feel like the person who said I was narcissistic, they need to come in on this lesson because
That's what I'm saying.
no, not at all. I have pride in myself. I'm confident, and I know who I am as a woman, as a person, but I'm not narcissistic. I'm humble. I'm, you
And you
know,
have standards,
yeah,
right?
heck
And
yeah,
boundaries, and those
right,
things do not
yeah,
make you a narcissist because you know what your standards are, you know what your
exactly,
boundaries are. That makes you a thinking human being,
peace, family. Yeah.
right,
right? And that's what you are, a thinking human being, right?
definitely,
But the weak can't handle it. They want to say
right,
they want to say you bossy, you too mouthy, you too this, you too that. That's what I'm saying. That's all like put down stuff because if you're,
right,
I
exactly.
know,
It really
I know,
is.
I apologize, God, I'm off topic.
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right?
Nah, go ahead. Run
What
you.
you talk about?
Like,
Um,
but like if you are a personality type that just is a certain way, like that's what I'm saying. Like it's important to find partners that fit you and not what somebody else is thinking that should fit you or who like forget about society when it comes to your interests and only focus on what you need. because like this, we wouldn't run into these problems if everybody did that instead of trying to get with the popular guy or the girl with the fattest butt, right? Or like you would
Right.
look for the person that is checking
Your
for you too,
personality. Right.
right? And you'll look for the person that want to treat you nice the way that you want to treat them nice, and that's what's positive. Like all this other stuff, like again, is uh she thinks she's too good for me to talk to.
Yeah, I've got that too. Is
What did
that
she say? What
mean?
did she say to you that make you think that? Because you haven't said anything to her. You just looking at her and saying, she's
Right.
stuck up.
Assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, assuming that.
Nah, you scared, right? And you need to man up and go holler and get rejected like the rest of us and walk away, pick up your face and move on with life.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
how it is.
Yeah. So look, y'all. So we got, what are some characteristics of narcissism? That's our first question. So we, based on our definition now, um, what you think? What y'all think we got now?
I want to add definitely that someone that's self-centered, that they might think about other people, but they mostly think about themselves in the situation. Like they might say like, oh, what's good for you, but really what's good for me, because I'm only looking out for my own interests and how it affects me or how it's going to relate back to me or whatever, and those are some they can be narcissistic um, characteristics, and
I agree.
I would, yeah, definitely.
No, I was gonna say the same thing because I didn't know that part where, and it makes sense, right? Where you got to put somebody else down,
Right.
Right, exactly.
right? Like
Right.
that part, that part was special because I
Because it
think,
says at the expense of others, right?
yeah,
Exactly. It's not just about lifting themselves up, but they have to lift themselves up by bringing someone else down. That's the part
and
about the narcissism that I
that's
noticed.
that's the part, right? And I'm like, okay, so now definitely got to reevaluate, which is why I say like I never was narcissist, right? Because I've never needed to put somebody else down to build myself up. I just did more work. I just did whatever work I had to do in the first place to get to where I wanted to go. Like it wasn't about stepping on Pearl's shoulders unless Pearl said, "Yo, you need a lift."
All right. Let me
Need a boost?
hey, let me ask y'all this. It can Is it narcissistic if a person gives you suggestions for a thing, but they don't want to help you do what they said that they was gonna do? Do y'all think that's narcissistic?
I wouldn't say it's narcissistic. I would say that they might want to help you, but not so that you'll get ahead of them. And I don't know what
Hmm.
I would call that. Maybe just having their own interests at heart better. Maybe that is actually narcissism, because a real, I guess, friend or someone that's really trying to help you, that really has your best interests at heart, regardless of how it will affect them, uh, they'll help you, or they'll, do whatever the situation is, give you advice, take you out to lunch, whatever, lend you money, give you advice, whatever, because it will help you. It doesn't matter how it's affecting them. It's not like, oh, if I do this then I'll get this in return. Now, I know that's a little different than what you're saying, but yeah, I believe what you're saying, that is narcissism, because you should just do something out of the kindness of your heart, not because you're getting something back or whatever. Um,
So ask the question again, God. I want to make sure I answer it directly
yeah, I think I understood. Yeah, I understood it.
because Jazz made me think about something else, and I was like, um, yeah, ask the question again.
If Do you think it's narcissistic if a person gives you a suggestion to do something, but they don't want to help you do what they said that they was going to do? So, so I want to suggest, like, Ali, you should do this, that, and the third with your farm. But every time that you ask me to come help you work on the farm, I never show up. Or I bullshit show up. Like, I show up when I feel like it, don't matter. But I'm cool with trying to tell you stuff you should do without you even asking me. You ain't even asked me for that stuff. Matter of fact, you just would be cool. You would be cool with it if I just showed up and do what I said I was gonna do. But
Actions speak louder than words.
I'm comfortable with giving you, you should do this, you know, but I'm not comfortable doing but what I said I was gonna do.
Yeah, I think I actually I
So
had a
that
situation. I had a yeah. Do you understand it?
Yeah, I understand the question now, and I don't know if that's narcissist. I think that person's just a bad. I think that person is not a friend. Definitely not a friend, right? And don't qualify as a friend.
Right. It's almost like
But
I've actually had that situation happen to me. And I feel like the person, they're almost getting off on telling you all these things you need to do or that they think would be good for you or blah blah blah, giving you all this so-called advice or wisdom that they have. But if they're not actually trying to like help you to get ways of how to do this, like tangible instead of just words, whatever, they're just almost talking to hear themselves talk and give you knowledge as the great, oh, great person to like give advice. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
man, you hitting it today, Jazz. So back to your first point that I wanted to talk to is like with the friend thing you said. I think as a friend, if Pearl is doing something and I'm assisting him or I'm participating in that, what's in it for me is his success, right? Like that's what I get out of it. Even if I don't get any money out of it, even if I don't get my name and credits or whatever, I get to see my friend succeed. And when he wins, we all win. Like those are how my friends are, right? And
I
so
feel
that,
that.
right.
Yeah, I
So
agree. A lot of people
yeah,
don't think like that,
like that's biblical, right? That's Psalm
unfortunately.
133rd.
I mean, it's supposed to be, right? And that
Yeah,
is
no, of
133.
course.
But I mean, everybody don't get taught that.
Right.
Or much so even surrounded by people who give an effort in trying to exemplify, at least, even if they run out, even if they stop, even if they was that before and they stop being,
Yeah.
you know. So like that's why it's like, what, that's why that's saying, like, the difference between right from wrong. Like, when you lying, when
You,
you fucked up,
you know it
so
every
like,
single time.
don't be upset because you get called out. But that's one of them things where I was just thinking about, I was like, damn, I wonder if that's narcissism. Like you say, that's not a friend. I get that because there's no consideration. But I'm like, that the advice is still tangible,
Yeah.
like
So,
the advice is good, but it's
I
like,
mean, yeah, it is. Of course it
but
is.
where does that person benefit in giving you advice? Because that's part of the narcissism, right? Like they would have to benefit mostly or first, I think, right? Um,
yeah,
so that's why I say not narcissistic because I couldn't figure out how they're benefiting
Yeah.
from
And like
that.
I said,
You see what I'm saying?
mhm,
well,
yeah, that
I think they would benefit from it because then you would be doing
What they said to do.
what they said to do. You would be following
uh,
their idea, and
right.
Ah,
some people are self-absorbed in thinking that their idea is the right way and the only way to do shit,
Exactly.
you know.
Yes, that's uh-huh.
So, or the best way, or or people try to look for things that you ain't doing or what they think. So like a lot
okay.
of
I
times
take it back. I take it back because now I'm thinking, right? And now because you got those people that want to give you the ideas and they want you to go and do those things, and they really want it to now become their project, right? They want the credit for it, right?
Exactly. They want the
Right.
accolades. Like,
Like
well,
they
I
want to
told
like,
you to do that.
yeah, like you wouldn't have did that if it wasn't for me. Blah, like
Exactly.
they ain't did nothing but think, right, or express a thought, right? All the other actions was done by somebody else, but they want more credit and more accolades than the actual just people that put in sweat equity.
Because if I never
Honestly,
would have
yeah.
thought of it, y'all never would have did it. Like,
Exactly. Yep, I heard a thing like that. Horrible. If
you know,
right, you wouldn't have done that if it weren't for me because I gave you the idea. I put that in your head.
and I
Yeah.
understand that
I
does
think
apply,
that's narcissist. I think that's narcissist for real. Yeah.
but see, I do think that that applies in certain situations, right? But I think that it's narcissism if you trying to do it on and 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 you really are self-absorbed in the reward, you know, like the
Yeah,
and
definitely. If someone
like
is
exactly.
self-absorbed in the reward,
It's like Ali used to say, you can grow stuff, man. Just you need a bucket in the corner. I'm making an excuse. Okay. That idea is not to be self-absorbed. That idea is because, man, like everybody need to do this.
Everybody need to do it.
This is one of them things that can sustain you, you know, if you dealing with you live in a food desert, you live in the country or somewhere. It's a natural emergency, a natural disaster, you know, but granted, your supplies don't get too damaged, you know, like it's things that it facilitates. If we get another port strike, right, where they're threatening to, I'll shut you down.
oh yeah.
No, not for nothing. You better order that stuff now.
Yeah, I heard.
but,
Right.
but what I'm
I heard that
saying,
they're gonna
but what
redo it or that they're gonna come back in January or they're gonna pick it up in January.
right, but what I'm
Possibly.
saying is like not to go too far off the topic. We can get into that.
Mm,
But what I'm saying is about the bucket in the corner is it provides you a resource
correct.
so that way you don't have to. So when you hear those things, you don't care about when they're gonna go back and strike. You know, you don't care about if they stop the trucks. You don't care about none of that stuff because I have an alternate plan. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm prepared. So those type of things you want to give credit to because you understand the value in it, being able to receive it. It's different when a person is just like, oh, you wouldn't have did that shit if it wasn't for me, blah, blah, blah. Like, and that's their intent. Their intent is just to not do none of the work. To when I call the guy and be like, hey, guy, I'm setting up this. Oh, let me hit you back. I don't really got time for that though.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then that's like,
Yeah.
okay. You know what I'm saying? But if you got somebody who will walk you through it, like, hey, yeah, let me help you with this. Let me, yeah, hit me. I got time for you. I'm gonna hit you on this day. We're gonna talk about chop it up, boom, boom, boom. Okay, then yeah, like it's all about those. I be looking at all about
Yo,
follow through things.
based on what you just got finished saying right there, I'm gonna say it's also narcissistic to 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 pick up the phone and not be available, and then to critique my joint afterwards.
To not be available and then critique me, right?
I think that's also narcissistic.
Yeah, that's not. I believe that's narcissistic too.
Like what? Like once you put the whole sentence together and you start really thinking about it, it's like, oh man,
Uh-huh.
right? Because you ain't want to help me.
Because
You
if you
really
thought we needed that, you should have showed up
with that.
with that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even if you bought it for somebody else, like yo, give them this,
Yeah,
right?
you know, but I'm saying, God, like you showing up for the team. You showing if you showing up for the team for who is intended for, like that's who it's. Nah, don't give it to somebody else. Give it to us.
Correct. Correct.
Should we give it? You know, like do it with a purpose.
Correct.
Make it have a purpose. Be purposeful with your, you know, with your commentary, with your donation, your benevolence, whatever it is, whatever your idea. You know, like and make sure that it can be like received because the goal is to get it to real life. To make it tangible, to make it something that we can really see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, So
Definitely.
so we already know we come from households and communities where we hear people say you need to do this or you need, where that is a part of communication. So that's already something that I think
Hmm.
black people have a problem with, just like psychologically. Everybody's traumatized from, because don't nobody want to be told to do nothing,
Correct.
Right.
you know.
That's another good point. So damn. So cats could be practicing narcissism just because of epigenetics, like not even like just from being just not even on purpose,
You
right?
stupid.
Nah, real like think
No,
of
I
like
know
that
what you
whole
mean from like their experiences
yeah,
that
because
they
everybody
have
talks about in
chosen.
the hood talk about you know, you should do this, what you need to do, what you should have
Right.
did was, and all these backseat
Woulda,
quarterbacks
coulda,
and
shoulda.
But nobody can show and prove. And that's why I said, like, it's a difference when you can say, when you can say, nah, God, get you a bucket, and then I can call you and you can say, okay, get this soul, get this. You can at least share what you've done with me through your what
Right.
you need to do, right?
because that's all I got is what I did.
Right? Your experience. So you can share that with me, and now that's value, right?
Hmm.
It don't come off as just like I'm just telling you some shit to do, but
Aha.
then you ain't
Yeah.
doing it yourself. Like, and
Yeah.
then you're not even gonna lend, like you said earlier, doing the work. You're not even gonna lend anything else. And then like Jazz, like you said, being self-absorbed in it, like it's my idea, and you would have never got to it if I wouldn't have told you. Like,
Right. Like I've had that
what you
happen.
even
Like
here for?
that's
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying? Because if that's the case, you could just be a think tank and just holler at me and just text me. Like if it's somebody in relation to me, like you could just text me and be like, "Hey, Pearl, I watched the show. Here's what I thought."
Right, right.
True.
Right? And that's constructive criticism. And
And
open for that.
yeah,
And I'm even open for, if that was the case. If somebody said, you need to do this on your show, you need to do that. I'm open to all that because I'm examining to be like, hey, is that a good idea? That might be dope. Let's try that out.
Was it
exactly.
specific? Um, because I want to say that I want to be clear in my thoughts that there's not a narcissistic action. It's based off a pattern, right? Did we read that somewhere that it has to be a so somebody can't do something perceived to be narcissistic one time and then be called a narcissist. I think
No,
they
it has to be like,
No, no,
a
no,
lot.
no, no. Well, go ahead,
But what do
Jazz.
you
You
think?
go ahead, Jazz. You answer.
I think it has to be a pattern. I don't think it should just happen once. I mean, that's just my own opinion. I'm not looking at any like scientific data or anything, but I would imagine that it has to be a pattern of behavior before you can say like, yeah, that's a narcissist, or they're exhibiting narcissistic behavior. Like if someone says, I'm the shit, like, once in their life or like a few times, they go out, they look good, they look cute, whatever. They're just being confident about themselves. That doesn't mean they're like, watermelon head, like think, to that extent of yeah, of the disorder. I don't think, yeah, big headed.
Right. So I think that
Hey,
we
real quick, can I cut you real quick? Before anybody get offended by the whole waterhead comment, my uncle actually
Oh,
was a waterhead. Actually, I don't think you ever stopped being that. Like, so he actually had like water in his head. His head swelled up when he was a kid. Had to get suction and all that stuff. It was like a whole. It was like my grandmother said back in those days they had a whole floor, a whole ward in the hospital for these babies.
really,
That it was like a whole thing. Like yeah, if you look it up, I think it's called waterhead or jughead babies or something like that. Like when people talk about yo waterhead, calling somebody a big head, like that's because there's like a whole condition.
that was a real
oh,
thing. I ain't know that.
Like
I
my
didn't
uncle,
know that. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize.
yeah, my
I
uncle
just
had
I
it.
just meant
Yeah,
with narcissism that you're full of, like,
yeah. Nah, that's and I laughed. That's why I just wanted to make sure we don't get no strikes. Like I got
oh,
personal
wow.
connections,
No,
so
thank you for telling me that. Wow. Yeah, no disrespect to anyone that's gone through that or knows anyone. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
didn't mean it like that.
we not psychologists or nothing like that. We
Right.
intrigued by the word, and we also are surprised that that the word is actually a clinical disorder. You
Did
know,
not know that at all.
like I didn't even know that narcissism was a clinical disorder at all.
I kind of thought maybe it could be, but I didn't think it actually was.
So going back to Ali's question and what you just said, you didn't think it actually was. Um,
Mm.
I think yes. I think that yes, when you do one thing, a person will deem you as a narcissist.
Mm.
I think people do that. You could do one thing, and because that's what they correlate that behavior to.
Oh, because they got a pattern that they've seen, and if you've done something to fit into their pattern, then you qualify as a narcissist.
Yeah, the shoe fits, so lace it up.
Shoe fits. That's
I
oh wow.
see.
Yeah. And I think that's just a part of American culture because everybody has stereotypes that
Hmm.
we
Right, right.
subscribe to, whether it be our own or those that we impose on others,
Mm,
consciously or, subconsciously, they still project. So when that happens, like, yeah, you could do something that may be normal to you, right? But
right.
then somebody else may receive it as you being pompous because that is something that's the way you delivered something or you shared something or you instructed something or
That's crazy.
whatever it was, and then they received it like that because
Hmm.
that's just how they received it, like. And that's why I be talking about, like, people will listen to what they want to listen to. They hear what they want to hear. They don't listen to the whole thing. They just hear certain parts. And
Yes.
because people don't train themselves to pay attention more, then that's what happens. So they'll hear a certain part, and most of the time, when you get into a conversation with somebody and they get pissed off about some words, they stuck on one part. They
That they
not,
didn't understand.
yeah,
I know I do that. I do. I'm guilty. I do that.
they
Yes.
like, but what you said about this right here though, like, and it's
Yes.
just, damn, we say it so much more, but you stuck on that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
unless it
Yes.
was something that you was like, okay, that's a good point because that's part of the, something that we need to address. So, like, I think people will, whatchamacallit, people will deem you a narcissist based on their own personal experiences and your action, even if you're not diagnosed with it,
I think I think
Right.
you I think you made that clear, bro. Like, cause that's you got to deal with your own patterns and things that you've seen in your life, and you got to deal with the patterns that people present. And what Malcolm say, like, you get 1,000 snakes coming to your door, but one of them say that they're not a bad snake. Like, how do you know which one is a good one? Like, they all
Mm.
snakes.
right.
Like, do you take a chance and reach down and say, "Are you the good one?" and then get bit?
Mm-hmm.
Now you dead,
It's
or do you
tricky.
close or do you close the door on all of them?
Yeah, I'm thinking close the door on all of them. Buy you a mongoose.
Right. Get your Patterdale Terrier.
They kill snakes.
Yeah, yeah, yo, I'm getting that's gonna be
Patterdale Terrier.
that's gonna be my small dog.
And
All
I got
right.
all that knowledge, man. They kill snakes and
Oh,
everything. Patterdale Terrier. I gotta look that up. But look, y'all, right now, so far, we talking about narcissism tonight. And we answered our first question: what are some characteristics of narcissism? And man, we shared a lot of great insights. And it's interesting. It's interesting. We found out that officially that narcissism is a clinical diagnosis. So we want to be careful. We don't want you know uh, cause any harm or anybody that may be suffering from narcissism. You know, as a permanent disorder. You know, want to wish you health and wealth and healing. And When we come back, y'all, we're gonna get into the flavor bombs with Jazz Garcelle. So we're gonna take a quick break at the top of the hour right now. We'll be back in 60 seconds with Jazz Garcelle and the flavor bombs. When you look good, you feel good. So let's get back to school with DBCHEFTV merch. August 1st through November 1st. Shop until you drop from our huge selection of apparel and accessories. Use code and enjoy 10% off our entire site at checkout. Visit www.dbcheftv.com. Hit the shopping link while supplies last and get back to school with DBCHEFTV merch.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016, 160 self-sustainability. Jump on a list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
We getting this money, ain't no limit, what's the cost? You ain't got it, don't run it up on me. Baby, I'm a boss, babe.
Hey guys, what's up? Flavor Bombs time. All right, some entertainment news for you guys. Joker Part 2 came out last weekend, and it's made quite a stir at the box office, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. So we'll see how it does. The soundtrack is slated to be very amazing, of course, headed by Lady Gaga, pop icon herself. I think this is a really great film. The last one was very dark and kind of controversial. So we'll see how part 2 goes. Kim Kardashian herself wants to get the Melendez brothers out of prison. They were set to be released. Well, no, they're not set to be released, but she wants them to be released. Their crime, killing their parents. We'll see how that goes. And final news, Beyonce, Queen Bee, did not get nominated for any country music awards this year, regardless of having a chart-topping country album, Cowboy Carter, with numerous hits. That's kind of peculiar for her, she's always on top in the industry. So we'll discuss all these things and more when we come back with everybody else.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jazz. So you got Joker 2. Joker 2. God, what you got on Joker 2?
I don't know. So so my homeboy told me that it was gonna be good and I should go take a look at it, but I gotta go see Joker 1 first, to be honest. Right? Like it was like the whole dark theme kind of threw me off, but the fact that they made another one and they brought Lady Gaga in, so I think that's gonna be pretty interesting. So I'm looking forward to that.
Definitely, me too. I was like, it's always hit or miss with sequels, but I think this movie, it was very pivotal. I think the Joker, he had some sort of mental illness in it. I don't recall exactly the mental illness. What you laughing about? That he had.
It's probably a narcissist.
Narcissism.
But narcissism.
Yeah, the Joker.
But I remember it was very controversial when it came out. I saw it at the movies. It was good, definitely thought provoking. So I love Lady Gaga. I'm excited to see the second movie. Should be interesting.
God, what you got on Kim K and the Melendez brothers? I don't even know who they are.
Yo, so when the sis said trying to get the Melendez brothers out of prison, I was like, yo, didn't they kill somebody? Like
their parents.
I was like, that sounds so familiar. Like it sounds. And then she's like, killing them. I'm like, why would you want to get those people out of prison? Right? Like,
right. I mean, it happened a long time ago, but
yeah, but their parents still dead.
Exactly.
Right? I think anybody that take their own parents out can't be trusted with the rest of society. Right? Like if you would take out your own earth, your own God, like you don't really care about yourself or anybody else because like they literally created you. Right. So I'm surprised they're still alive. Like how you how you kill your own parents, and then you got somebody like Kim Kardashian talking about she want to let them out. Like
Yeah.
besides the sex tape,
Wow.
like what did she do? Like what she got like what like lipstick or something like that?
I'm not even.
Got like
Going
lingerie, TV show.
shit.
Uh,
She's an
yeah,
entrepreneur. Beyonce,
yeah, major entrepreneur.
what you got on the new Beyonce? The Beyonce got
Yeah, so
snubbed.
her album Cowboy Carter was snubbed from the CMT Awards, which is, basically like the Grammys for country music. She did not get not a one nomination, to her surprise. And of course the Beehive is buzzing on this because how could they snub Queen Bee, right? I
So
mean,
I think
but
that's all. I think that's all marketing and on purpose to sell more of her albums, right? To get
hmm,
more people to push play on her songs, right?
right.
I didn't know she had a whole country album. I thought she had a song, but
Oh, it's like 14 songs. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know that.
She's got
Uh,
Dolly Parton on it.
for real,
Post Malone, Miley Cyrus all have features on the album. Yep.
She got a feature with Dolly Parton. I ain't know that.
I'm about to go check it out. Right,
Right?
Crazy.
That's real country music. I don't know
that's
what.
real country music, right?
Yeah.
Like Dolly.
Mm-hmm.
Dolly's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like I think it's just a way to make more money, because those awards really don't mean nothing to me. As a casual fan, right? I think it's just another way to stir up attention and get more sales. So I'm with it. I like the hate because she'll come out with another album, and it's gonna be another chart topper and make more money.
Right.
And she's still not gonna get nominated. She'll come out with another banger and make more money and still not get nominated. And she'll come out with 5 bangers, and they be like, all right, all right, all right, all right. Here you go.
All right. All right. You can get some nominations. All right. Come on. We get it. We get it. There were
That's
some
what I think.
awards.
We
That's
get
what
it.
that's what I think.
You don't need an award. Word. So real quick, Joker 2. I haven't seen Joker 1. I don't know the last time I've seen any Marvel comic movie. Just because I don't.
I don't know if it was actually Marvel, but it was more like
DC
not,
Comics, who's Batman? Whoever Batman Joker is, whoever's making it, like I don't want to go into that of who's making it, right?
yeah,
I
okay.
could be wrong because I don't watch it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
All
a
right.
whole. You about to start a whole cult fight.
Hold on.
Like,
Okay. We
I
about
don't
to have a
know.
major debate on Marvel versus DC.
Yeah, I don't know. And growing up as a kid, I played outside. You know what I'm saying? Like I broke
Right.
all the
Yeah.
rules and I wanted to be outside. So
Mm-hmm.
Kim K, that's wild. I don't understand what's going on with that. Maybe I'll give it some time to go and find out what her logic with, like what she's actually saying out her mouth.
Right.
Like,
Like why?
like I might go get at some attention, like, but just based off of what's going on, like I'm not interested. Like that don't benefit. I'm trying to even figure out how that benefits society.
Right. Like they killed their parents. What makes anyone think they wouldn't kill any other person? That's,
Hollywood.
I mean?
I don't know why you would need 2 parent murderers. If that's what they convicted of.
So
Mm-hmm.
I do remember them being a movie connected to them. I think, or
Yeah,
like
they did a movie on them. Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
want to
but I
say
mean that's normal. Everybody who's crazy as hell get a movie.
but that's my thought of when you were saying of the connection. That's what it made me think of, because they did a movie and maybe she gonna do another movie or something like that. And
Oh, I see.
She don't need them out for it. She can get some she might feel compelled to get him a
yeah,
little
nah.
money or something, but like they can't. If I'm not mistaken, it's a law where you can't gain off of your crime that you committed with a victim, because the family, well, they killed their own family, but it's supposed to,
Right.
maybe I don't know. I ain't even gonna touch it, but
Yes.
Beyonce. Beyonce. Beyonce.
Indeed.
Um, yeah, like do an R&B album, bae.
Today.
Beyonce, do an R&B album. We need that. We need that real R&B. Come back with some real R&B. Like I know you're doing your thing with the country, but you know, these sisters need some love out here. These brothers need some
Mhm.
love. So it'll be nice if we could get that Beyonce back.
Right.
The country's cool. I know she doing her thing, showing her scale of artistry, branching out, doing other things because she done conquered in this area and conquered in it, but
Mhm.
sometimes people still like to hear Anita Baker sing them songs and Patti LaBelle and Shaka Khan, and they still like them classic tones and Mary J, you know. So
Hey, real quick, I want to add on. She is from Texas.
yeah,
I would imagine
Yeah.
everybody in Texas listen to country music and participates in rodeos and country stuff.
I can't
Right.
imagine that.
I can't imagine.
Right. Because it's
I
the
don't,
culture there. Yeah.
yeah,
That's why with the album, the whole culture.
I don't think there's no color associated or religion
No,
associated.
no, it's just the
I think
culture of
No.
Texas.
I think everybody in Texas listen to country music.
Yeah, but just because everybody listen to it don't mean that you good at it.
Yeah, but I think they all think that they would be good at it because they from Texas.
Yeah, that sounds narcissistic.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they would think because they from Texas, like they would have the right to do it.
That sounds narcissistic though.
Mm,
Well, you got the right to do whatever you want, but that don't mean it's
Of
gonna be good.
course.
mm.
That don't mean it's gonna get the results that you're looking for.
Right. Like the award, the nomination. Yeah.
So
Correct.
what was her goal? Was her goal to get paid and do a successful album to just say I did it, I did a country album, you know, or was her goal to do the country album and get nominated by 8 AMAs, 8 CMAs or
Right.
something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like if that wasn't her goal, then I think she still goes platinum and she still can do tours and they always sold out and people jam and listen to it. So
Pay thousands of
Definitely.
dollars per ticket.
yeah, so I mean, I think she's still winning, but I mean,
Oh,
shit, you talking
definitely.
about somebody who not going to make an effort to go and like listen to a whole bunch of country, but I'm going to go and check out
The
if
Dolly
she,
Parton song.
yeah, like a Reba McEntire,
Hell yeah.
Right.
Travis
Right.
Grant, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like it's a
Yeah.
lot of them guys, the old school,
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers,
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson, so like all them, and I could see if blacks in music have already like made a whole lane. Like I think we had Aaron Neville,
Yeah.
but I mean outside, and I'm not too vast in
I don't think he was country though. I think he was.
Yeah. I don't think he was really country.
I think Aaron Neville got the same treatment that Beyonce did. Was like, yo, who do you think he is? And I kind of think the response was like the same. Like, but he sound like a country singer when he sing. Like he sound like he talk country. Like,
yeah,
Yeah, and there's more black country singers that are actually making country music, but they haven't obviously gotten to the point of Beyonce level or, Carrie Underwood or, some other country artist. This dude, Shabuzi, he just won an award. I'm not sure which, he won some award. And he thanked Beyonce actually for opening the door for black country artists. And what he did, his song is, the song Tipsy by Jaquan came out like in the early 2000s.
okay,
Basically, Shabuzi, he took that song and he kind of redid it, but like country in a country way.
a little twang on it.
Yeah, put a little twang on it and made it slower, a little bit slower.
So is Shabuzi kind of like on?
Shabuzi.
Okay, I don't care about pronouncing it correctly. Um, but
Okay.
you know, I don't want to sound narcissist, you know what I'm saying? But is
Yeah.
he like along the lines of what's the little X guy?
Little Nas X.
What
Lord,
was that? No, not at all.
okay. Because I know he
Mm.
did country, and that was the
And,
only of
and he
Oh
didn't get
yeah, when
accepted.
he first came out, that's
Yeah,
right, with
he didn't
Billy
get
Ray
accepted.
Cyrus.
He didn't get accepted either.
it. You say he didn't get
Yo,
accepted.
yo, he did a song with the Honky Tonk Man,
Right,
and
he did a song with
and
yeah.
and did not get accepted into country world. Like I'm like,
Mm,
this dude is Billy Ray Cyrus. Like how you? I think if anybody do a song with Billy Ray Cyrus, it's automatically a country song.
I don't know, because if Nelly do it,
I thought that was a country song, right?
Nelly.
I remember,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, Nelly did a song with Tim McGraw.
and
Tim-
I remember thinking that was country back in the day, right? Like
that was
it
a
was,
country song.
it
Yeah,
was,
that was a country song. It
it was a
was
country song. Like
That was jamming, but they infused
over
it.
and over. Yeah, that was a good song.
it was a
It
great
was
song.
kind of like the country rock this way. Remember when Run DMC did
Yeah,
that joint with Aerosmith?
yeah,
Like nobody's really been able to recreate that.
yeah.
You know,
Right.
Everybody been trying though.
yeah, but
Mm,
nobody
sure has.
able to recreate that. I mean, Jay did some stuff with Linkin Park, but it's just not the
Oh
same.
yeah, I had that whole album back in the day. That was hard. I had that whole album.
I mean, it's a classic, man.
Yeah,
And I
that's
mean,
a classic.
over and over again is a good song too, though. Like I
It
would say,
is a good song.
country rap classic too, though. You know, so it's difficult. It's hard for people to make them collabs like that, and the
Mhm.
ones that like everybody loves. You know, like
Yeah, that's like universal.
right on both sides of the aisle. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, but that's dope though. That's dope though, man. Shout out to Beyonce.
Yeah.
Shout out to the new Joker movie. You know, and
No shout
Kim
out.
gave me that.
We'll see what happens.
I have to save the shout out for something else. Maybe if you're doing something philanthropic, but you know, some
Right, right. We're gonna wait on that, kid.
Maybe she's saying they really didn't kill their parents.
man, I don't care what you're saying.
Listen,
Yeah,
No, I ain't got
the
nothing.
evidence points to them. I'm not. I don't.
They got convicted, so
Right, they were convicted. They've been in
and they
prison
made movies.
forever.
you know,
They
so
probably made 2 movies. Yeah,
I ain't even. We gonna get back to narcissism,
Hey,
but
yeah. 'Cause
but
they must be narcissistic to think they about to get out of prison for killing their parents.
it's
I'm
but
just.
I mean, but they got Kim K in their corner. Like Kim them work a
Yeah,
lot of
she's worked some magic. A lot of people got out because of her. Yeah.
Kim done worked a lot of things, man. So I don't know. I don't know what the purpose of the point is. You know, like it's a headline, it's a story, but who knows what
Hmm.
the point is or like what's really going on.
yeah,
So
that don't make any sense.
you know, we'll see if it's even real or if it's just fake news.
Right.
You know. But thank you, Jazz, for the flavor
Of
bombs.
course.
We getting this money, ain't no limit. What's the cost? You ain't got it, don't run it up on me. Baby, I'm a boss, babe.
And we back, y'all. Make sure
Weird.
to like and share the video. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Don't forget to check out the links in the description as well. We got a lot of good stuff in there. And we're going to go ahead and get into the second half of Cigar Sundays Live with tonight's word, narcissism. So, before the flavor bombs, we had answered our first question, and our first question was, what are some characteristics of narcissism? Our second question tonight is, can narcissism be an effective way to communicate? Who wants to go first with that? Can narcissism be an effective way to communicate based on the definitions of what we know now?
Nah,
Mm,
because one is a one-sided conversation,
exactly.
right? Even if you're having it with somebody else, right? They got a part that they got to say in your script in your mind, and whether they say it or not, you're gonna say what you got to say. That was next in your mind to say after they finish talking, right? There was this a clip going around of this news anchor talking to each other about a movie he saw on Netflix called You, and the lady he was talking to, the other news anchor,
Oh, that's a TV show. That's a good show. I saw that.
never heard of it until this clip,
Ooh.
and she was like, "What are you talking about?" Like she stopped him, and she was like, "I don't have a television show on Netflix." And he was like, "Yeah, not you. I'm talking about the television show You on Netflix." And she just could not understand that he wasn't talking about her. He was like, "Yo, I'm talking about a television show that's airing on Netflix, and the name of the show is called You." And she was like, "Yo, you're telling me that there's a show on Netflix called Ali Dawood?" And he was like, "Oh my God, no." And I'm like, "That lady."
Yeah, she had
Go,
a
go ahead, finish. I finish.
That lady,
It's funny.
that lady was not having a conversation,
That's crazy.
right? She was talking to herself, right?
wow.
Like,
That's cute.
because she refused to make the connection. She was solely thinking about what she wanted to say, and that was it. I think that was that narcissism cannot work. You cannot have a conversation as one sided, and conversations require at least two people.
Yeah, unless you're talking to
Mhm.
yourself in a
So
mirror or in a
Yeah,
puddle of water, like
you
the
know what I'm saying? Like the
like
guy, right?
right. Narcissist.
go look at yourself in the water for 300 years.
Okay, I'm gonna go do that.
Right, punish them too. He was scared. He stayed there, kept looking.
That's
What you,
funny.
what you got, Jazz? Can narcissism be an effective way to communicate?
No, not at all, because you got this one person, or you have this one person on one side of the conversation that they're consistently thinking about what they're gonna say, what their point of view is, how their point of view is better than yours, or how it can be, how to get their point across, and not necessarily. Well, yes, as a narcissist, but yeah, sorry, I was thinking of something else. But then you have the other person on the other side of the conversation who is not a narcissist. They're just trying to talk to you about whatever, and you just kind of make everything about you or direct everything back to you. Um, and that makes for a very not equal conversation. So it's difficult because it's like when I'm kind of thinking of it as the mental illness, or in terms of someone having narcissism. I think it would be very difficult for them to have a meaningful conversation about almost anything, um, or about a lot of things, without their narcissism getting in the way of that, because they're relating everything back to themselves, or um, you know, it would be difficult. That Yeah, and um, you know, I want to say something that I actually notice sometimes when people do that, you could look at them and say maybe that they're self-centered, or they're full of themselves. Not necessarily. I mean, maybe that person isn't a narcissist. Maybe they are, but sometimes people might think that they're um, trying to relate things to themselves as a way of understanding the situation that the person is talking about, so that they
Being,
can
being
feel,
empathetic.
yeah, being empathetic and being connected to the situation. They're not necessarily trying to be a narcissist, but it might come off that way. So um, some, got to be careful about that. I've heard that about myself. So just to be transparent. here. But I mean, it can be, yeah, I mean, it could be difficult if the person is a narcissist and you know that. Yeah, it could definitely be difficult to have a conversation with them. Yeah.
Okay. So when we look at having a conversation, I think that in a conversation, like, it depends on who the conversation's with, because I've worked for people who I think are narcissists. All right. And the biggest thing is, like, they have a boss. So it's only so far that it can go.
That's true.
But, depending on where you are in that food chain, you may catch the narcissism and you may not have, any recourse. It's just to deal with it. That's their personality. That's how that person is. So,
Right.
And like, this is the situation. Now, have I seen it to where people will usually band together against that one person? I have seen that in some instances.
What do you mean by that?
So, like, I was at a unit before where I've seen a command get relieved, and people use words like narcissist. They was using other words too, though, like racist. But it was wild because
that's the baddest.
Because it was wild because he was white and the people who were complaining were white too. So yeah, so that was different.
Yeah, that's because it's effective, right? They know the right words to use.
Yeah, I mean, but they also had somebody who would corroborate their story with them. So they have a victim. Like, a lot of the white guys couldn't do racism, right? Of course not. What their problem was, they was lazy because the guy wasn't racist.
So they just used that as a ploy to get him out almost.
But he was a bit narcissist, though. He was,
okay.
Like,
maybe not racist, but a narcissist.
No, he wasn't racist.
You say he was the CEO though, right?
Yeah, he was CEO. But he wasn't racist. I know he wasn't racist because I wear this complexion. You know what I'm saying? And I know when somebody being racist.
Yeah.
I know when they hiding it too.
Correct.
Especially in that environment where you work around each other, it's going to project in some way, whether it's a small way, a faint, subtle, or it's flat out, and you just got to deal with it because of the rank structure, and you just need to make sure you stay in line. That's it. You're doing what you need to be doing. Okay. And you respect and you follow the rules of the road. So, like, it's not a bad thing. Like, it may be bad for somebody who feel like they can't follow the rules of the road. They're gonna feel boxed in, or they just want to, I just want to point you out because I can. Like, and I ain't never been that person. I'm always like, I got more important shit to do. Like, if you an asshole, I'm gonna figure out how to deal with you and navigate, because I'm not here for you.
Right.
You have my own reasons.
Like,
correct.
I'm here for a reason, for the reason I signed up to be in this environment, for the reason I came here. I have to work with you. I may even have to work for you, but I'm not going home with you. So I know this shit is temporary.
Yeah.
So I didn't get involved in that situation, but that was a situation where I saw, like, this person, narcissism is probably what led to their being relieved, their demise, because I noticed that they talk to everybody the same way, because you pay attention to things like that when you were studying leadership. So you learn leadership styles. Okay. And a lot of times you could go to a class or something like that, but the only leadership style you learning in that class is how that person is teaching that class. That's it.
Correct.
All that book stuff you're talking about, like, that shit is out the window. You're gonna be too busy. You're gonna have operations. You're gonna have too much stuff going on. So you learn these key things from other people. Like the best teacher is experience. So if you got somebody good who you work for, then you're gonna pick up good things. If you got somebody bad who you work for until you get in that position, you know, then you can recall those things that were good and you look at those things that were bad, and hopefully you don't allow yourself to set that example and treat other people like in a way that you didn't like to be treated, you know. So you have the ability, once you start making rank, to cultivate your own work environment, working with your own people, because that's where this came from, is the experience being in, you know, a structure where, you know, it's a top of the list and a bottom of the list, and people fall in between. So that's why I saw, that's why I say that a person can be narcissist and they can communicate, and I'm seeing it be effective in certain environments. But the thing about it being effective is because there's so many other things surrounding, like the goals,
Yeah.
where it's not a one-on-one. So that's where I'm taking it to, where it's like, okay, yes, in a one-on-one situation between me and Jazz, like narcissism probably is not going to be productive, or from my part or her part. Right, in our relationship, me and my wife, it ain't gonna be productive. All right. But in an environment where it's like it's only temporary, and this person is using that as a leadership style,
Yeah.
may not be the best one, but that's what they know, and that's what they think works. That's what they get the most effective responses out of from people and everything. Then I'm like, the mission ain't not getting completed. You know, people hate the person that's divvying up the orders, and, you know, wish that person could do some different stuff, could be a little different, but they still showing up, doing what they're doing, their part,
Still completing the mission.
still completing the mission. Yeah. So so that's where I was thinking that, you know, like narcissism.
But yo, that's a real specific use case though, right? Like a military environment is one of, I can't think of another professional environment.
Shit, you don't think that labor union dude was a narcissist?
I didn't see it. I don't know.
I'm gonna shut them down. They got
What?
here the labor union guy, the head of the labor union. The guy was like, I'm gonna shut them down. They want to play with me, and I'll shut this whole thing down. The whole,
Oh man.
you know, and it's like that was sounding full of himself. Like, bro, what you just did was I believe that there won't be any more labor unions. They said that thing been around for 200 years. I know right now they trying to figure out how to get rid of their ass.
So they don't have this problem no more.
So they don't have this problem no more. I know it. Cause sad to say, I would. It's no way I would let nobody. Now, it's two things. It's like, okay, yes, people should have a livable wage. Yes, people should be able to, you know, make some demands for things.
Right.
But I also think that there's a responsibility to a person that knows that they have that much control.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
You know, so if you have that much control, like, everybody's affected. And it's a difference when, see, this the thing. It's a difference when you know you're gonna strike, right? See, the public didn't know until maybe like they didn't start releasing videos probably till like that weekend before, like maybe like Wednesday. They started telling people about a strike in a few days, starting maybe on the 1st. All right. So that's 4 or 5 days that they giving the public. If I'm the guys there, they knew that this was gonna happen. Unless you know somebody who work in the shipyard who gonna tell you like, hey, look, y'all need to buy a little bit of stuff and stock up. Like,
Right.
them doing that put everybody in a situation, in a
Like the
panic,
whole country.
put everybody in a panic mode.
And that's true.
So I think, and it could be conspiratorial, I don't care, but I think the only people who want the power to put the citizens in a panic mode is the government. I think they're the only people that want that ability.
They would be the only ones to benefit from it, in order to be able to maintain their control over the people in order to govern.
That's all I'm saying. Whatever their purpose is, that's the only people I can see that will want that type of authority, you know, and to see that chain and the link where like, hold up, we don't have this authority. Like, we gotta get rid of this shit. They're gonna get rid of that union. I promise in 6 years. I'm guarantee y'all by the time that contract renews, we're gonna see some legislation that just like the truckers got, you know what I'm saying? Like Jimmy Hoffa was trying to do that with the truck union. That's why it is an act of terrorism for truckers to form a union. Look it up. This is real.
Yeah.
This is real. It's an act of terror.
Yeah.
It's an act of terrorism for truckers to form a union. So
And they still don't know where Jimmy Hoffa's at.
Right. So what that dude just did, depending on how they want to play it, even though it's a simple labor dispute, it is a labor dispute.
Yeah.
You know, but it's one of such significance that it's like, nah, we don't want to have them type of labor disputes in the future.
Not with this level of important matter, right? Not with the bare necessities.
Bro, not with 2-3 wars going on.
Right?
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? And geopolitical.
The election in a month.
You know, we don't know what's going on with trade and stuff like that. Nah. Because can you imagine if the military struck?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, that's crazy. Because that's
nope, not at all.
We live in a world now, society now, where that's actually possible.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Yo, it's possible. Like,
I don't believe it, God. Not the military going on strike. That would be.
Yeah, I don't think the military. I
would think it's over. If I seen like that little longshoreman thing, like I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, but so you thinking about military from the military that we was in with, there's a new mindset joining the military these days. People are joining entitled. Already, right?
The entitled generation.
Right. So, like, I'm scared of that generation. Like, so I think, like the stress cards, right? Like the stress cards in boot camp, like that would be the equivalent of something like this, right? Like how dare you come out?
Ali, what is that?
So before, boot camp was real serious, and it was meant to break you down and prepare the person for the United States military, right? Because you got to be ready, willing, and able mentally, physically, and spiritually, so to speak, right? You got to be about the mission. That's what boot camp is for. Boot camp is to get you ready for that.
Right.
To do that, you all up in somebody's face. You might touch them a little bit. You might shake them up a little bit.
Right, like testing their limits and stuff.
You might spin them around a little bit, right? You might do a little something and now all of that was taken out where you couldn't yell at them.
Really? They don't do that type of extreme boot camp in the armed forces anymore?
That wasn't even extreme.
That wasn't even extreme, right? Like I remember the class that came after me, I think it was like they couldn't get no closer than 3 feet to the recruits. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Like if you getting yelled at by your trainer, you can pull out a card, and they got to stop yelling at you.
Oh man!
Yeah. Wow, that's deep.
So because of things like that is why I say I can see the people in the military going on strike, because they will feel like they actually have the right to do that because they got stress cards now.
Yeah, I'm still not rocking with it, God.
Crazy.
For real, I don't have SEALs and special forces and deltas and submarines and and cutters out there. Like I don't have aircraft carriers going on strike. I don't have admirals saying, okay, we pulling in the port and we just going. I don't have. I don't have. I don't.
I agree with that.
Yeah, like I just don't have the top brass, the leadership.
Yeah, I agree with
I,
that.
I think some. If you're talking about some E2, E1s to like E4s, yeah, they might.
And it's gonna be a bunch of them on the news talking about strike.
Yeah, like, but
we not doing sweepers no more.
yeah, like, that's it. But nah, like nobody's gonna be with that. I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine that
and
either.
and we stayed, like I can recall not getting paid on several occasions from clerical errors and from continued resolutions and stuff like that.
Correct.
Which happened every single year. So, so I can't imagine that. I can't imagine them just on that, just the military striking. But that would be the level that I feel like that's the level that I feel like is comparable to with shutting down the ports, shutting down commerce in America.
Yeah, that's huge.
Like you don't shut down commerce, dog. Like you ain't that. You live in a nice house, you drive a nice vehicle. That's rewards of your hard work and your
right.
So that's cool. But that don't make me look at it like oh, you got this and you got that and nah, it's none of that. It's the fact that you have a responsibility
Correct.
to the citizens of America, and when you take it and you make your pocket, the actual
beneficiary,
the gambling, you make that the dice.
That's crazy.
That's the dice that you rolling. It's just like I knew once they put him on TV and said that he had Bentleys in the house and all this and lavishness, that I knew what they was doing with that. They just like,
I missed that part.
The majority of people don't have a Bentley. The majority of people don't have a house with a pool. So
just the union guy.
Yeah, so
I ain't seen none of that, God. Like,
yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, I was watching that shit because that shit's serious. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit was not for people who have 1016, 160 self-sustainability resources. Okay.
Facts.
Like then you're not really tripping off of
grocery
store and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna stock up on some things and then you're gonna have what you have and get the rest out the mud. Right.
Right.
But when you don't have that, you have other family members. I ain't just thinking about myself. I'm thinking about the other people out here that have to get up and go to the store, that's trying to get some gas, trying to keep some fuel, trying to stock up, get some rice, get some canned goods, get whatever they need, because you don't know how long they're gonna hold out for their money.
Right. That's crazy.
So I would have to think that, okay, so if y'all gonna hold out for y'all money, what if they call y'all bluff? Right? What if they be like, so what then? Okay. Even though we know how the situation go, they're gonna get pressure from the White House to be like,
right, hell yeah,
fix it, right? Okay. What if they called the bluff and was just like, all right, then fuck y'all and fuck the people too. We got enough money, because the people who own the shipping ports, they paid.
Super paid.
You think they're not gonna have food? That's why they asking them for all that money. That's why they can do that, because they paid.
Right.
They're asking them for more money. They're asking their boss, can you pay us more, boss?
Right, because look at what you're making. We should make more.
Exactly. So, so I mean, they could call their bluff and be like, oh yeah. But the thing is I'm like, they had to prepare. And that's where I think yeah,
that's kind of weird. Shady,
if I work there, let me tell you something. If I work somewhere and I know that I'm getting ready to strike, and you talking about on the level of that, I'm going to go buy a bunch of shit at the house.
I'm buying a bunch of stuff.
Because you don't, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know if they're gonna call your bluff or not. You don't know if they're gonna if your bosses are gonna say, oh yeah, we don't answer to you, you answer to us. You the fucking employee. Yeah, we know you got to do the job and everything, but you know what I'm saying? We can just shit. We got 45 illegals that just came across the border. We about to get their ass up in there.
Oh, yeah.
How they know it didn't play wasn't gonna play out like that?
Right.
It was
You
gonna
know
fight.
what I heard?
It was gonna fight them trying to come on to take their jobs. And that's what I'm be talking about. Like, shit be stupid. Like, people don't be thinking things all the way through.
Yeah.
If I was him, he said something. He said that he would have reduced if the president invoked the Taft Act, that he would have just went back to work and did, like, less production, less productivity, right? But I would have did that first.
First.
I would have did that first. That's what I would have done first. I would have put out a work order and said, "This is what we're gonna do, y'all." So it's like a stand down, stand in. All
Yeah.
right. And whoever ain't, we said you gonna pick it. You gonna come to work. You still get paid, but we gonna rotate because we only doing little work. I think he said something like 30 an hour to 8 an hour. Okay, then I would have went from 30 to hour to 8 an hour, and then all the guys who I didn't need who was there, then you spent money. He said he'd be spending money. I would have had them cater, come out there, and everybody gonna protest, and we not doing more work until y'all raise our money up. That way, now the economy isn't in fear of stopping, of shutting down. All right.
Right.
And the government looks like, well, only thing we can make them do is take 80 days to resolve the shit, or 90 days, whatever the TAF Act is, to resolve it. But then guess what? The bosses, they already know how much money they've been losing. So it ain't do or die.
At all.
It's
Right.
just, it ain't do or die. It's not holding you for ransom or else.
Not for them. No.
It's like, okay, if they had 90 days and they was only doing 8 over 30, then they looking at all the money they losing on how long they was bullshitting, because we could do 8 over 30 for 6, 9, 10 months. It ain't mandatory. The government haven't had to step in yet. So they would have to negotiate with us. But when you shut it down, now what happens is now you have the narcissism kick in. And the narcissism is going to kick in from our politicians, our Congress, and our senators are going to be like, who the fuck you think you are? And you think that you got that much power? We gonna nip that shit in the bud. You think you got
right, exactly.
government? Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, fam.
Yeah.
I'm an American too. I live
you're right. You're 100% right. Like that is too
Definitely.
big of a thing to stop.
Situation. Yeah.
Right. Like
I heard that they were, I mean, it's my coworker said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Are you good?
My coworker said that she heard that people were striking, and I don't believe this at all, but that there were like human trafficking in those containers, and that was why which is completely possible. Human trafficking illegals in and whatever in the containers, and that some of the people that work there, that they were striking because they don't agree with that sort of back deal, like shadiness going on. I don't know. I believe that.
I'm not going to entertain that because all they said they wanted was a 77% increase, which is crazy. And
That's a lot.
At the same time,
it says 77%.
77, and they
not 70, not 80, 77.
They settled on 62.
Damn.
So they got a 62% rate. They took 15% off. Plus, they got some good perks for their 401, for their pensions, and for their investment plans, and their vacation plan and everything. They got their whole package redone.
Wow.
They whole contract, they overtime price went up and everything. So
I think you're right though. Like in the next few years, the powers that be definitely gonna figure out a way to where this can't happen again legally.
Fuck yeah, they done.
Like they better have got everything that they need because they done. Like COVID showed us that you can't play with us like this. Like it gets crazy. The shelves got empty fast.
Real fast.
You know, like everything, food, toiletries, like empty fast, and the idea that we not getting them because the port workers or whatever. Like, so you know, I heard that with those unions and stuff like that, like when they decide to strike, it's so organized that everybody has like a certain amount of money saved up. Like I heard that it's supposed to be like a almost like a planned amount of time that they're gonna be able to strike for. So I was like, I thought that was
That's
interesting, like
crazy. Wow, that's interesting.
because
It's
because
not. It's a coordinated effort. It makes sense.
like because
No,
it
it
has
does make sense.
it
Yeah,
has to be coordinated, right? Because otherwise, like you would have people that's protesting today that will be crossing the line tomorrow because they got bills due.
exactly. Right. And that's what I don't know. That makes me think about my contract and our striking clause and things like that for the teachers union up
Yeah,
here.
they actually would be unprepared, and that's what you just said, God. Is my point exactly where it's selfish, you know. Like, and I understand the need to protest, to speak up and say, you know, to speak out against their work conditions and things like that.
Right.
All that, but
But I'm looking at all of the strategies that he had to get to that point, you know, to hold the U.S. economy ransom
it's
was
crazy.
that was the
Yeah, it's
extreme.
wild.
And they're not gonna let y'all do that no more. You know what I'm
No.
saying? Like, y'all ain't gonna have that power no more. I promise you, they not gonna have that power. Democrat or Republican, Kamala get in or Trump get in, they gonna remove that shit. That is no haps no more. They not gonna let somebody have the power to just shut down the American economy. The government is going to reserve that, you know, unless it's something, you know, all that conspiratorial shit and everything else that come with it. That's, you know, that's fine, however that's working.
Hmm.
But when we look at something that's real like that, when we look at something that's like you said, with the selfish part, was like the part that was correlated to the selfish part based on what you said, God, was that they planned, it was strategic, they was all together, they was in unison. So what that means
Mhm.
is that everybody go buy what you need to buy, blah blah blah,
Right,
right?
Fact.
because we striking.
Because
Right.
we're gonna strike, and you know what that means. Goods ain't going to the stores, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's wow.
right. So if that's the case, then you really was selfish. Like, you was all the way selfish. It wasn't a good look for labor. Like
Not at all.
like when you say, Jazz, like, let me think about my my union and things like that,
Yeah.
right? Like, other people would do that, right? And think like, damn, should we just go on strike? But then, and I'm not saying that it's not beneficial. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, no, no, of course, but the way that he's laying it out, like you really need to think like we're going on strike, but I have to pay my rent. Like,
No,
can I
no,
really
no, no.
afford to?
No, who does it affect?
I
Who
mean,
does it affect?
right.
See, if I'm still thinking about myself, I'm still selfish. I'm still being a narcissist.
Like for me, a teacher strike sound crazy.
Like, how you ain't think about the kids?
Like who gonna teach these kids? Like
Well,
like
yeah,
like
obviously, of
how did
course.
See?
and it'd be things like teacher strikes that make me say these people aren't in it from their heart, like they just want a job, right? Because what about these kids, right? Like you still like somebody got to do something about them. It's
Yeah,
like
that is true, of
a,
course. But I
a,
mean,
a
we have
nursing
needs
strike.
just as much as the other unions that go on
Oh
strike.
no, I'm not.
You
I'm not
know,
knocking nobody. I'm just saying, like to me, based on what the guy
so in
was
terms of the
saying,
narcissist thing, the
like
topic.
having the ability to shut down a substantial part of the economy or of our culture, like a nursing strike or something like that, sound
Nurses,
crazy.
Oh,
what if all nurse with it? I
oh,
don't even
oh
know if it
my
is the
God.
nurses union. I think it's the American Nurses Association. I think that is like I think they got some
We
type. But what if all them? But
Like
what if all the
like
nurses
we
just
had a nursing strike actually recently, or
really,
maybe it was averted. Maybe it was
really.
averted at one of our, yeah, at one of our hospitals. I mean, obviously it wasn't the whole Pittsburgh, but you know, one of our hospitals,
Yeah,
That sounds
they
crazy to me.
but
no,
Like,
it is.
no,
Yeah, no, it does sound. It is crazy. It does sound.
employee strike at that particular facility. But what we talking about is if all the nurses,
yeah, no, yeah,
Well,
or
that's
one
just
place,
that's what we
yeah,
talking about. That's the topic. That's the subject. I
yeah,
mean, that's not of the show, but of the conversation. All the nurses.
yeah, like
You know,
all the nurses, like
that's. Oh
that
my
that
God, that
that don't make any sense. The thought
I'm
of no hospital,
speechless.
like, cause you
We
got
couldn't.
doctors that can't even do stitches, but they hold
Yeah,
heart surgeons. You know what I'm saying?
so that's
yeah. They're
so
the
that's
lifeblood of the hospital. Like,
They
oh my
would
God.
they shouldn't be allowed. It's gonna sound terrible. They shouldn't be allowed to to unify.
they
See
shouldn't be
now,
allowed to
right
union.
now, it makes you think
because
about it.
because that entity is too important
Right,
to everybody.
to
So,
everybody.
so that goes in line to what I have a thing where I say is like certain professions you shouldn't be allowed to go into unless like it's like in your heart, right? Like, and I say like police officers, firefighters, um, like lawyers and doctors, like those kind of professions are specialized in teachers, right? Like they got responsibilities greater than themselves. Like even a lawyer,
Yeah,
a lawyer's interpreting the law, but no matter what side of the law they're on, they're doing it for the greater benefit of everybody, right? Because whatever happens in this case will be precedent for later cases to come after that, right? So
hmm
I think certain and this is leading is like directly to like why I say that, because to me a teacher or somebody that wants to be a teacher and then that same person complains about teachers not making enough money, I'm saying, but you knew that going into the situation that teachers don't get paid a lot of money.
yeah,
So,
but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't get a raise or be entitled to more money.
but
That
it
doesn't
should, but it
mean.
does mean to me as a parent that my child shouldn't suffer for your bad decision, right?
Wow,
So
wow,
I'm
wow.
saying,
For picking your low paying career.
Hold up now.
now
Wow.
listen to me. I'm saying
That's
that the teachers that love teaching, that wanted to be teachers since they was kids, are gonna find a
Mhm.
way around they not having enough money to teach these kids, right? They're gonna work out and complain to the administrative the way they need to complain, but the children would never suffer. I'm saying that a person that would allow children to suffer for their benefit does not deserve to be a teacher, because that person is in it for a check and not for the benefit of our society. That's what I'm saying. Yes,
Uh-huh.
entitled to a living wage, but you playing with our future, and we shouldn't get people that's just. It's like I don't. I think it's just certain professions that you shouldn't just be allowed to play with. All right. I know that's a sensitive, tough topic, Jazz. I apologize. I'm not
You don't
picking
have
on.
to apologize. I'll talk when I'm able to talk. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm not picking on teachers specifically. I think in fact the whole teacher's so high that you know. But yeah, now let's go, God.
what you got, Jazz. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay,
Go
yeah, here we
ahead. What you got on the teachers?
go.
Go ahead. What you got?
So, since you want to point the finger at teachers and
No,
whatnot,
you know what? Nah,
shots fired. Ba-boom. No,
them
um,
shots is fired. But look, but
no, I'm
let's
kidding.
go ahead.
Um,
Let's get back to the
yeah.
topic for real.
Okay, narcissism.
No, but
Narcissism.
everybody deserves to get paid a livable wage. Everybody should, but you should not. You should. We should try to evaluate who we're going to affect, the extent of the effect, the ramifications of the effects from our actions when we choose to strike. in any industry.
Right. Yeah.
And
No matter what.
who are going to be the people that really lose out, you know? And I agree with like the concept of what the God said. Like, if you know that that's a low paying job, then you should never take it if you're ever going to be concerned about money.
Facts.
You should take it because that's what I truly enjoy, and this is what I want to do. I think teaching is more than one profession. I think people who join the military and have a military career, I think that's something that they come to acknowledge. After a while, maybe not, but they realize like, okay, military, you can still make rank, but you still only gonna make a certain amount, and you're gonna have to be investing. So you're gonna have to be learning some other things along the way and making some other moves if you're trying to get to a certain space, because you can have two people that retire, using a military example, same rank, same everything, but one person did different things.
Correct.
Because they thought about investing. They thought about money was a component that they maybe later thought about. You might have somebody else who just was like, I just wanted to do my whole career, live for the military and make a living off of that. I don't care about no money. I don't care about none of this, none of that. You know? So and their ribbons and their medals are the things that
that's the thing that they care about.
That's the thing that they care about, you know. So and they, you know, so you have different dynamics where people you know, where people can get paid more money, but they choose to, you know, to take jobs or career paths that it ain't about the money. It's more about the compassion, the love for it, you know.
It's all about the mission.
Yeah, and when you got people like that, like, I mean, don't complain about it. Change your career. Do something different.
Right.
That's really it. And be realistic. It ain't like you can, you know, depending on what age it's like. It's not like if you're a teacher and you're 25, if you weren't playing ball and you got hurt, then you probably not going back to the league of any sort. You know, so you got to have a realistic objective.
Right.
You know, but that don't mean that you can't go become a doctor and have your own practice, or be an attorney and have your own practice, or, you know, go be a rocket scientist or astrophysicist, or, you know, you can do something else, but don't complain about the money, you know.
Yeah, don't take it out on the kids.
Don't take it out on the babies.
They don't deserve it. They didn't do nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Yeah.
So we got, can narcissism be an effective way to communicate? And we just answered that question.
Yeah, we just did that one.
Just trying to, you know, put that in perspective with some of the things that we shared. And moving on to our third question this evening: is there a difference between someone diagnosed with narcissism versus someone that is not medically diagnosed?
Well, since I gotta get going soon because I gotta go to work, but I will say yes. I mean, obviously, there's a difference in someone that is medically diagnosed and someone who isn't, but we can't tell looking at someone. You know, we really have to like sit down with that person and have a conversation, and maybe they reveal it, maybe they don't. But I feel like when someone is just like, oh, you're a narcissist, like what? And, you know, you've done something that they feel is selfish or, you know, whatever, full of themselves.
Yeah.
They call you that, but that doesn't mean that that's your diagnosis. That doesn't mean, you know, that there's certain, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I can't say what the criteria is for diagnosing someone with that, but I don't think it's as easy as 1, 2, 3, like, you know. So
yeah,
there's a major difference.
Hold on, God, before you go. Jazz.
Wait, you mean me?
Is not.
You have to go too?
No, he's about to speak, but you have to leave.
Yes.
And
yes.
before you leave, narcissism, bad, good, or misunderstood?
misunderstood completely because, like I just said, people play around with the word and not necessarily play around, but, they'll say, oh, you're so, you have the biggest ego. You're narcissistic. And they don't know if you really are like medically narcissistic, but, they're saying, God, you only think about yourself. You don't think about others or, it's all about you. And maybe in some instances, you are thinking about yourself. But, you know, that's how it is
God,
sometimes.
God, you wanted to respond to something Jazz said?
Nah, I wanted to agree 100% and co-sign. That's my same answer. The fact that I'm not a medical doctor, so I don't think I'm qualified to to because once you use the word diagnose, like you got to have a qualification to say that, and
Right.
I don't have that, so I feel like I would just be putting down on somebody, calling somebody narcissist, or I'll be feeling intimidated by that person. Is why I'm calling them that, right? So yeah, I agree with Jazz.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
Fair enough. We don't know we don't know if the diagnosis with narcissism versus not in relation to a person's behavior was something that we just deem narcissist or narcissistic.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
narcissism has now become a touchy subject because it is
Yeah,
The medical part made it
because it's a
funky.
diagnosis.
it's
You know,
real. Yeah.
Like
you,
it almost feels like it's gonna be like the new R word because the medical.
Well, I don't know about that, but it definitely
Oh,
puts it in perspective when I'm saying or when I say it. I don't really say the word as much as I say you have a big ego or you're full of yourself. Those are the terms I use, but it all basically means the same thing. So, yeah.
no doubt. Well, we answered all three questions this evening. What are some characteristics of narcissism? Uh, and we went through that and we correlated a lot of things with the definition. A lot of those things that we in the beginning we were led to believe what our opinions of narcissism is or our experiences with narcissism, and then correlated that to the definition. Then we got to question number two: can narcissism be an effective way to communicate? On general consensus, we was like, not really. Um, but we have seen it used in. I shared a story where I have seen a person exemplifying what I would consider narcissistic behavior be effective, in an environment where there wasn't, they were at the top and they really couldn't be challenged on their communication style. Then we went to question three: is there a difference between someone diagnosed with narcissism versus not? And and the subject got a little touchy where it's because it's a medical term, and like we said, we are not clinically licensed physicians up here at all to diagnose anyone or to treat anyone. And just our opinion, we exchanging insights. It's difficult to know if a person is diagnosed with narcissism versus just interacting with them.
Hmm.
But I will say in relation um to it being bad, good, or misunderstood, it definitely was misunderstood by me this evening. you know uh, and I had no idea that it was until doing this research that it was a medical condition, a for real diagnosis. So That's interesting. That's interesting that is. Shout out to my boo who came up with this word for the show.
Hey,
Thank you, Keisha.
And that's really, we broke it down, we looked at it. God, what you think? Is it bad, good, or misunderstood?
misunderstood. I'm right where you at, bro. Like I thought I knew. And I had I was, we was all touching on it early on, but it's that second part, right? Once you add in that diagnosis and the clinical thing, it just makes it just so much different. All right, so it's definitely misunderstood.
Definitely misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I agree. I think the panel has all agreed that narcissism is misunderstood. And based on our definition that we looked at tonight, if you think that you may be acting a little narcissistic, you might want to go get diagnosed, go get yourself checked out.
You may be qualified to act like that.
It may be a reason. It may be a real reason that, you may not be tripping. You may really just be NPD, So
Right.
That's crazy.
You may have narcissistic personality disorder. That's interesting. Never knew
that.
I might go get screened, just so I can see if I failed the test or not. That's like certain tests in life you want to fail.
HIV.
Yeah,
Wow.
certain tests in life you do want to fail,
Yeah.
So but you never know. Like in self-reflection, you might say, damn, am I narcissist about certain things or this, that, and the third? And you never know. But yeah, y'all, great discussion as always, like we always do on Cigar Sundays. And any final words before we close out the show, y'all? Anybody? Jazz? Ali?
I'm good to go, God. Appreciate y'all.
Well, thank you everybody for watching. We want to make sure that you have a positive, peaceful, and productive start to your week. Make sure to like and share the video. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. And we will see y'all next Sunday right here on Cigar Sundays Live. Peace, family.
Peace, God. Peace, team.
When you look good, you feel good. So let's get back to school with DBCHEFTV merch. August 1st through November 1st. Shop until you drop from our huge selection of apparel and accessories. Use code and enjoy 10% off our entire site at checkout. Visit www.dbcheftv.com. Hit the shopping link while supplies last and get back to school with DBCHEFTV merch.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016 160 self-sustainability. Jump on a list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Girl, we got that touchscreen love. Every time we kiss, I see your face light up. Similar to lightning bugs. Swear I never felt this, so it must be love. Girl, we got that touchscreen love. Every time we kiss, I see your face light up. Similar to lightning bugs. Swear I never felt this, so it must be love. I said lately, I've been thinking about you crazy. wondering, will you be my lady? Cause I wanna take you down. Girl, I wanna show you what this loving's all about. It's our time, girl. I wouldn't waste another minute if my heart wasn't in it. Let me take you down, girl, and spread you on my bed and show you how I'm about to. Girl, we got that touch screen